Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where the gnomes live. This is Sharon Oyella, and today we're going to be making some, I guess you could call it chipboard. It's like fake wood pieces. I'm using this material to build in my gnome home. So yesterday I just made these little paper towel holders using this very same material. So I thought I'd throw this video together for those of you who are mini makers, also journal makers. This is great stuff for book covers as well. It paints up easily. And it also cuts really easy with your X-Acto knife or your scissors. And it's a fun way of recycling because I'm using recycled materials to make this. If you use the larger cereal box like this, you can make a piece that's about 7 inches wide by close to 11 inches long. Every layer that you use of one of these boxes here gives you about 1 millimeter of thickness. So to make this little shelf here, I used 3 layers glued together, and that gave me 3 millimeters here. But you can build up that thickness. This one has 4 layers and that's 4 millimeters. But you can keep building and you can make it as thick or as thin as you need it to be. So let's get started. We're going to be using the empty cereal box, like I said, and some tacky glue. You'll also need something to roll the finished piece with. I'm using a brayer, but you can use anything that you have on hand. Now I'm going to cut this down into 3 pieces. Just popping in with an edit. For this video I made a smaller chunk of wood. If you wanted the larger piece, of course you'd just be cutting off the flaps and then you would just be gluing this inner piece here to how many other pieces that you've chosen to use. So the size is up to you. Now I'm going to glue all 3 pieces together. So the glue has to go over the entire surface. So I'm just going to spread this out. You don't want any space without glue. It'll just make your life easier later. And try to keep glue from getting on the outside because we want to put books on top of this. And we don't want to glue it to any surface. And now I'm going to glue this side. And I'll glue that colored side and this colored side together. So that leaves me plain on both sides. If you have a brayer or a bottle or a rolling pin, it'll be helpful to roll over it now. Alright my friends, I'm just popping in with an edit to be sure that you do roll your piece before you set it to dry. I used a brayer, like I said. You can use a rolling pin, a jar, if you don't have any of those, thing of masking tape. You want to make sure that you roll over it, the entire piece, to ensure that you have full contact inside there. So when it's all dry, you're not going to see any separate pieces. They're going to be totally glued together, and that's what you want. You want to make one solid piece out of those pieces that you've glued together. Okay, I'm going to set it under books. Before I do that, I'm just going to tape the ends just to keep it from slipping. Okay, and I'm going to set my big book on there, and I'm going to leave that for about 20 to 30 minutes. So I left that for about 30 minutes and it's ready to be cut. Now a cutting mat with the lines is helpful. If you don't have a cutting mat, don't worry. You can measure out some lines. So just pick a measurement and then make points with the measurement. So I'm going to use 3 inches here for the width. And then I will choose, let's see, 7 inches for the length. Okay, and then from that point I'll choose my 3 inches again. So 3 inches by 7, and now I'm just going to cut from point to point, and that'll give me straight edges all around. I think the thickness of that 3 pieces glued together is pretty much perfect for making these little miniatures, on the 1/12 scale anyway. I think that's a great width right there. You can make these little paper towel holders or bookshelves, anything. If you wanted it thinner, like this piece here, I made with only 2 of those cereal boxes glued together, and look at the difference in the thickness. And that's a good thickness too. I think this turned out just as great. Alright my friends, now that you have your wooden pieces made, you can store them away until you need them, or you can go ahead and start getting creative now. Make yourself something fun for the dollhouse, a little bookshelf. Like I said, I do have a tutorial here on YouTube for making this little paper towel holder, and that should be popping up on your screen. You can also use these in your journal books. If you do make anything using this method, I'd sure love to see it. You can post pictures on my Facebook page where the gnomes live. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you super soon.